All right, this is basic part number 5, and this one you're going to like. It is one step. We make a sketch and then we extrude it. So here's what you're going to do. Start yourself a Part Studio and rename your tab. Rename it BP5, and we are ready to get started. We're going to draw this on the front panel. So you're going to click on that front panel, and this is the sketch that we are drawing. And this looks a little bit confusing maybe, but hopefully in just a second it'll be a little less confusing. Get those where you can see those. All right, so basically, I've told you guys I like to extrude as few times as possible. Okay, so I'm going to draw this outline, and once I've drawn the outline, then I'm going to come back in and dimension everything. So click on the front of your view cube. That'll spin it around. Click on your front face. Start a sketch. And as always, we're going to get rid of our work planes so that all we see is our sketch plane. I'm going to zoom out here, and I'm going to grab my line tool. All right, so straight up, straight over, straight up, straight over, straight down, straight over, straight down. All right, so I'm going to pause right here. You see that yellow line? So something nice happens when we do this, okay? When we get these yellow lines, that means that these two outside lines, they are even, okay? And the nice thing about that is when I dimension one, it will dimension both of them for the most part. So that's one of the things we want to make sure that we're even. It just makes things easier. All right, we're going to come in, over. We want to make sure that we're getting that straight line down and over. Make sure you hit that origin point. Click it. All right, now, is that perfect? Nope, not at all. But does it resemble what I want? Yes, it does. So now we're ready to start dimensioning. So I'm going to work on my outside dimensions. So this left side, I know that my bottom is 0.75, my top is 0.5. All right, so I'm going to grab my dimension tool. This bottom line, 0.75. And this top line, 0.5. And we're going to zoom it in. And now we're ready. All right, so now we've got the side dimensions, but our top dimensions are way off. So let's fix these. All right, so 0.5, 1, and 0.5 across the top. So grab your dimension tool, this one here, 0.5. This one here is 1 inch. That's really going to shrink my part. And then this one here, 0.5. That's going to bring everything in. Oh, and so here is something crazy that happened. All right, so what has happened to me is when I drew this point over here got a little off, so I just need to click and drag this line, and it should bring the whole thing in. And there we go. So if that happens to you, that's all you got to do. Just grab it to bring it back in, zoom in, and we can adjust our dimensions where they're located so that we can zoom in really nicely on our part. All right. Come back over here. We need to do a couple more. So we need this line here to be 0.5 and this line down here to be 0.25. So I'm going to grab my dimension tool. That one's already 0.5, so I'm going to change this one and I'm going to make it 0.25. And the same thing here, this one needs to be 0.25. And the nice thing is by doing that, I don't even have to dimension this one. It's automatically 1.5. And I think I did that backwards in the other one. I think I actually made it to where I dimensioned this one and this one. Let me double check. I sure did. I dimensioned this one and this one. That's fine though. Either one, if you dimension both these outsides 0.25, it's automatically going to make this 1.5. So the last thing we need to do is this right here, 0.25 up. And because we made this even with the other one, it should automatically resize the other side as well. And I believe we are done. We can click that isometric right there, Shift E. And again, we want it to go back because we drew on the front face. So we're going to tell it to go in the opposite direction. And we are going to extrude a depth of 1.25 inches. So grab your depth, 1.25, hit enter again. Bang, you are done with basic part number 5. Now, one of the things you're going to notice is if you look at the drawings that I gave you in Google Classroom, you don't see this gap right here, okay? And the reason is because when we click on this corner, we're not actually in an isometric view. We are, but it's not a perfect isometric view, okay? If you click isometric, right click out here in space, click isometric, it spins it around and you can see that this line goes all the way through and it hides it. That's an isometric right there. It only gives us 3 faces and it's a perfect diagonal. Okay, so there you go. As always, right click, rename Part Studio 1, rename your tab to BP5. Over here, rename Part 1, call it BP5, and you are done. And that is basic part number 5. All right, I'm going to do one more for you, basic part number 6, and then we will call it a day.